Hello and welcome back to the Hudson Hangout. Today I'm interviewing Danny Ladwa. Danny is a UK beatbox champion, singer and songwriter. He spent 5 years touring internationally with international electronic music producer Gaudi. Danny has performed all over the world and is the founder of School of Beatbox, which I am proud to be a student of. Hello, Danny.
How's it going, Hudson?
Good. Now, let's get this interview on with.
All right.
How did you become a beatboxer?
How did I become a beatboxer?
Tell me the story that you told in beatbox class about where you were waiting for the game to load. You know that one?
Sure. Well, that's exactly what happened, Hudson, as you know. So when I was a kid, when I was 11 years old, right? That was the first time I ever made any kind of musical sounds with this mouth, right? And before that, I was really into singing. I used to write little bits of poetry, lyrics, come up with words just on the spot. That was something that I always did, and my parents always used to get me to do. Hey, just make a song about this, and then I would do it, right? And anyway, when I was 11, I started to realize that I had all types of sounds just up inside my head. And Hudson, it was kind of like continuous. It was constant, okay? If you could get an ear into this head, when I was 11 years old, you just hear music all the time, right? And so what happened actually was I was thinking about this stuff so much that I started to get these sounds coming out of my mouth, with little bits of hums, drums, bass, sound effects, all these types of things. But I was very, very shy, Hudson. Very, very shy at that time. I was not ready to share it with anybody because I thought if I showed them this thing that I'm doing, maybe they're going to make fun of me, or maybe they're just going to say it's not that good. And you know what it's like when something's very important to you. And it was very special to me, this beatbox practice that I was doing. And I think I was kind of protecting it. I was like, I don't want to share this because what if someone, isn't very nice about it? So one day I was there, me and my older brother, Nicky, and we're sitting there waiting for this game to load. And obviously this was a long time ago, right? And, I was 11, and this was, I think it was the Atari ST. Have you ever heard of that computer? Oh, way ago, long time ago. And this was before the internet existed. We couldn't do Zoom, we couldn't do anything like that. And anyway, I was waiting for this game to load, without me realizing, this bar's going across the screen loading, and I'm super bored. Ooh, and I start beatboxing, but my brother's sitting next to me, and I don't even realize what I'm doing. And I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, my brother, he's right there. And he was sitting right next to me. And yeah, exactly, buddy. So I was like, this was the first time I'd ever shared the beatboxing with anyone. And, my brother, like you and I, he's got these 2 ears attached to his head, right? So that means that he heard everything. And I turned around to see his face, and he was looking at me kind of like, and I'm looking at it, and I turn around, I'm like, please don't make fun of me, please don't make fun of me. And I see his face, I'm like, whoa, it scares me because he's super close to me like this. And the first thing he said to me, Hudson, was, that was wicked, man. That's what he said. Here in the UK, we say wicked as something that's really, really good, right? Mm-hmm. And he said that was wicked, man. And that was the first time I kind of got my confidence to share it. And so I went to school the next day, and I started sharing it with all of my friends. And that was really the start of me beatboxing, my beatbox journey.
Hmm. How did you get into singing and songwriting also?
Well, this was, I would say, a very organic process, right? It was kind of like a river. It was all part of the same story because not only was I hearing sounds, rhythms, sound effects, sounds of nature, sounds of machinery and things, but as I said, before I got into the beatboxing, I was writing lots of lyrics. And so I already started my kind of lyrical journey when I was a little bit younger. But I think when I was 11 was really the time that things started to kickstart. Because when beatboxing came into my life, that's when everything started to make sense
Hmm.
to me. And I was like, wow, I have this kind of thing. And I could see that it was making people happy. Like when I start beatboxing and I see your face go, whoa, or smile or laugh or having a good time, I thought, wow, this is really, getting some good reactions. But once I started putting these beats together, I started to really develop my songwriting more. And you know what? When I was at school that time, I got into writing one verse every day. That was my little mission that I set for myself. I wrote one verse of a song every single day, and I did that for so long. And still, right now, in my dad's garage, there's a big box with folders with all these plastic wallets in there, and inside the plastic wallet is just full of old bus tickets and scrap pieces of paper that I would just find. Like I'd find this piece of tissue and I'd be like, wow, I've got some lyrics in my head, so I just write it on here, whatever I could find. So they're all still there.
Did you write on your wall? Did you like write lyrics down on your walls or something?
Well, you know what? I would have got into a lot of trouble, so I kept away from writing on the walls. But literally any piece of paper that I could find, whether it was a tissue, like I say, bus tickets, scrap pieces of paper. Every now and then, I'd find a nice, clean piece of paper. But that, when I was out and about, I'd use whatever I had. So I just write it down before I forgot it.
I'm also learning electronic music production. How is that part of your music? How much is that
Can you just
part of your
repeat
music?
that for us, Hudson?
I'm also learning electronic music production. How much is that part of your music career?
Oh, right. You're learning music production?
Yeah, in a software called Ableton Live.
Ableton Live. Wow, that's fantastic. Hey, I'd love to hear some of your stuff. You can send me something, all right?
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. So really my art is all about the voice. Okay. So singing, lyrical work, beatboxing, and I've worked in a lot of studios. Like I released my album and I've done a lot of collaborations with other artists. So I've been in a lot of studio environments and had those experiences, but I've not yet honed that art of using electronic music myself. Now, in my album and other music that I've collaborated with and I've been a part of, there's been electronic music mixed in with what we're creating. And I'm always kind of like looking over the producer's shoulder, like, what's he doing there? Like trying to figure out. And I guess I've learned a lot of tips and tricks along the way. And I'm just starting to dabble a little bit in that world. So watch this space.
Hmm. I know charity work is important to you. Tell me about the charities you support.
All right. Yeah. Charity work or any kind of community work is very important to me. So, there's not a specific charity that I support at the moment. What I tend to do is try and set up projects that I think are really worthwhile and are going to help people that might need some help, or raise awareness about something that I think we should talk about. So, for example, when I was a kid as well, I used to have a problem with my speech. I don't know if you know that, Hudson.
I
Yeah.
I saw it on a website that talked about it.
Oh, right. Okay. So, have you ever heard of a stutter or a stammer?
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
right.
think I
So I
might
used to
know
have.
someone with one.
Okay, okay, great. Yeah, so there's actually the statistic is 1 in every 100 people, so 1% of the population will develop some type of stutter or stammer. So when I was around that same age, around 11, 12 years old, I had this stutter or stammer, and it was really, really challenging. I couldn't even say my own name sometimes. So imagine how many times a day when you're meeting new people, especially, and people say, "Hey, I'm so and so. What's your name?" And can you imagine not being able to say your own name? It was really frustrating. It's very challenging. And so what I've done is when I set up School of Beatbox, as you know, um, I I set it up as something called a social enterprise. So that means that our part of our mission, a big part of our mission, is to give back. Okay, give back to the community, give back to worthwhile causes, to charities, that type of thing. So one of the projects I'm working on is called the Stammering Voice Orchestra. So I've got together a team of people, some of which have never sang before, never been on a stage before, never had any musical experience before. We got them together and we're working on creating a kind of vocal orchestra, basically. And we've done 2 shows already, one at the UK Beatbox Championships and one at the London A Cappella Festival. And we're just getting ready to launch another project. So I'm very excited about that.
Hmm. If you meet, if you could meet any celebrity, who would you meet and why?
Oh, wow, that's a big question. Any celebrity at all?
Hmm. Dead or alive?
Dead or alive? I was just going to ask you that. All right. Um, you know what? Covering all aspects, creativity, spirituality, um, someone that I believe in. I would say Bob Marley, Robert Nesta Marley, because firstly, I love his music. Okay, I think he's so powerful, such a powerful message. Someone that I'm really inspired by, and feel is has done a lot of great things for humanity, for people. People still singing his songs makes them feel really good and positive, brings people together. And also, I would have loved to have a jam with that guy. Drop some beatbox while Bob Marley is singing one of his songs. That would have just been fantastic.
Hmm. Who is your favorite musician? And is there a musician that you think that might surprise people?
Ooh,
Well,
that's an
like you just said,
interesting.
your favorite musician is Bob Marley,
Well,
right?
that's definitely one of them. Yeah.
Hmm. But like, what's the musician that might surprise people? Like,
Okay. Well, surprise people. There's actually someone that's worked with Bob Marley. Okay. His name is Lee Scratch Perry. Okay. Now, many people obviously know about Lee Scratch Perry because he's done a whole world of work. He's released so much music and stuff that I really, really love. But, like anything, when people talk about fame and being famous, a lot of the time, that person's only famous to the people that know that person. And there's loads of other people that don't know that person. So, anyway, Lee Scratch Perry, I think, is a very interesting character. If you watch any of his interviews, you'll be like, whoa, he always dresses in, you know, very flamboyant, like lots of face paint and lots of color, and he wears mirrors on his outfit and all types of things. So you're shocked. So I think he can be a very surprising person to see. But I just love his artistry, and I think he's somebody that has the gift of being able to think something, okay, have an idea, and then instantly be able to just put it into creation without really thinking about it, not worrying about it, and just going for it. And I love that.
What do you like to do in your free time when not working?
Oh, when not working, you know, I like to hang out with my friends, some people time, you know, have some good food. 100%. I love food. Do you love food? Yeah, of course you do. Your eyes lit up there. So yeah, good food, good people. You know, I like to get out in nature. I think that's really, really important. You know, I live in London town, so very, very important for me to go and see some water, go and get in a forest, something like that. I like to read also. So I do a bit of audio reading, so audio books as well as, you know, real physical books, old school. Really for me, I like to do kind of relaxing things, to be honest, when I'm not working, because work can take a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do a lot
tiring. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be. So I kind of like to call it unplugging, right? I just like to unplug a bit and just chill out.
Mm-hmm. Good thing for me, most of the work I do with interviews is sitting down and typing things or talking, that kind of stuff. Not
That's
very
cool.
exercise.
All right. You just want to do a couple of laps around the living room in between interviews.
I just did like a 3-mile walk this morning or something.
Ah, well, there you go. You're sorted for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Good work.
Can we beatbox a little together?
Absolutely. What are we doing? Do you want to go back and forth? All right, let's do something. Let's just. Why don't we just have a little jam? I'm gonna do something, then you can do what you want. We go back and forth.
Okay.
All right. Your turn. All right. Hudson. Hang out. Go. All right.
Okay.
All right.
What is your dream project?
Oh, wow. Dream project. You know, there's probably a few. Okay. I'm coming up with a lot of ideas, and there's lots of things that I'd love to do. Something that's just sprung to mind right now as you've asked me is working with a really large set of musicians on a real big composition. So kind of like a real orchestra type of thing, but working with not only typical orchestral musicians like violins and strings and horns and all that type of stuff, but also lots of vocals as well. And I think it would just be so much fun to rather than just working in a small band setting, but have so many people, I could write a lovely piece of music and really see what it sounds like with lots of people, you know, and of course, like you said, you know, about the good community work and charitable work. find a way to really tie that in to be something that is that has a positive purpose.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Where can people find you online?
Well, we have schoolofbeatbox.com. That's a great place. There is there's Facebook, of course. So you can either search Danny Ladwa, DANNYLADWA, on Facebook, on Instagram, LinkedIn, right? Or you can search School of Beatbox on all the same things, and you will find me.
Thanks, and see you next time on the Hudson Hangout.
All right, Hudson.